This is my 15 minutes live. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Nice sunny weather outside. We have been having some rain the last few days, which was great. A bit of a storm or a few storms, but it was still great because it cools down the environment. And if you look outside, everything is green and everything is growing beautifully. So the rain is welcomed. Today is very hot. I first started off by taking out a black t-shirt, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to absorb all the sun. I'm not going to absorb all that heat. So I changed to a lighter t-shirt because after this vlog, I'll be going out. So I started on that note because I'm a bit annoyed this morning. I haven't been in here for a few days. I know the boys were using the office. They did some training over here. They played some games, and I know they had some. They were editing videos and stuff. But coming in here this morning, the place is a bit of a mess. It seems like they left the windows open, so there's a lot of dust. They also had a few snacks in here, so there's a bit of a, you can see they left the dirty glasses and some plates here that they didn't clean up. And seems like they were playing music because they've got the speaker over here. So I'm a bit annoyed that the place is in such a mess. But anyway, it is what it is. This video is unscripted, unplanned, and unedited, so it is what it is. I am gonna have a word with them, and I'm gonna have a strong word with them because they share this space with me, so they need to keep it clean. But that being said, a lot of negative posts on social media, probably for the past 6 months, maybe the past year. And I've posted a few months ago that I no longer want to read or listen to the news because there's nothing in the news that's positive anymore. Everything is negative, and it just brings your spirit, brings your spirit down. And my post actually said that I don't want to listen or read the news anymore because it makes me lose patronage, or it makes me less patriotic to my country. Now, I also know, and I've realized this for a very long time, that you can't trust the news on social media. The news is not validated, and what you see on the news is not always the truth. But you can't run away from it. If you're on social media and you get this post and it catches your eye, you have to read it, and you're not sure whether this is the truth. So I take it with a pinch of salt. But the fact that you read it and it's negative, or if it's one-sided, it kind of impacts you. So I can tell you this, that I'm a very optimistic person. And if you looked at my scale a few months ago, I was like there, right at the top. So I'm a very optimistic person. I see the best in every situation. And I've always been like that. And I feel like over the past year, or maybe few months, because of this negative influence, I feel like my scale has been tipping a bit. You know, it's like my optimism has come down a bit, and pessimism has kind of increased, has a bit of tipped my scale. So I'm trying very hard to get back to there, not let negative news and being influenced by negative things. Now I know that not everything is well in this country. So there is problems, but you can't let the problems weigh you down. And I won't allow the problems to weigh me down. I had a very tough 2017 at work especially, and that has also been contributing towards the scales. And just the other day, I responded very negatively on the road, and I was shocked that, you know, this is me. And in my mind, so I was driving and an incident happened, and I was like, F you, I'm not gonna give in. You know, I'm gonna take my space and I'm gonna fight for what's right. And you know, it's like inside you're kind of giving the middle finger. And I thought to myself, okay, that was a very strong reaction from my side. But on the other hand, also I thought we need to stand up for what's right. If we don't stand up for what's right, and if we don't take a stand for what's right, people that's doing wrong will continue doing wrong. And sometimes you need to fight fire with fire. And I've been wrestling with this for a bit, but I'm thinking, how do you, if someone's doing wrong and they continue doing wrong, you know, if you don't say something, or if you don't react very strongly towards that, then you're not going to change that behavior. Being the nice guy all the time it's not having the impact to change what's going wrong or change those who are doing wrong. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm trying to just bring a point here. So I feel sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind. Or no, maybe that's wrong. Sometimes you have to respond in a way that they will understand. And I'll give you an example. So I drive around, right, every day, and there's a video on my channel. I think it's called Every Single Day Johannesburg, and I just recorded my trip to work. But in that video, you will see that cars driving on oncoming traffic, because they are trying to avoid the traffic. So they go onto the oncoming lane and they move onto that lane, especially the taxis. Sometimes you'll see them go into the bus lanes, driving into the bus lanes. And this is disobeying the law, right? But in the video, and as I'm driving, I'm always conscious of the number of vehicles of the road. And if someone goes on to oncoming traffic, I always try and see, okay, what percentage of road users are obeying the law? They're sitting on traffic, they're waiting their chance for the robot to open and to cross the intersection. And then I see how many cars I'm seeing obeying the law versus those that are disobeying the law, that's breaking the law. And I can tell you that the percentage is very low. It's about, I'll say, anything between 5%, maybe 5% of road users are disobeying the law, and 90% are obeying. So there's more law-abiding citizens than those breaking the law. Okay, and that's a very good percentage. I'm very happy that 95% of road users are obeying the law. One of the big problems on intersections is, especially when there's heavy traffic, is like those crossing are trying to get ahead. So the robot would be red for those going this way, and it will be green for those crossing. So we'll be crossing, and then this traffic will come to a standstill, and common sense would say that if you're trying to cross and there's traffic on the other side, rather remain behind the solid line. So because you're not sure if you go into the intersection, whether you're going to be caught. Maybe the robot will close for you, the traffic light will close for you, and it will open on this side, and you'll be caught in the middle of that intersection blocking the traffic. But I've seen many people don't have that common sense. They would go into the intersection and they get caught, and then it causes a big mess. But I've also noticed there's many people that would use common sense and remain behind the barrier. So when the robot or the traffic closes, then the rest of the traffic can go. And I'm one of those people, I do that. And at times, when I remain behind the barrier line, I would get hoots from behind. Poop, 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 like, you idiot, move, we want to get across. And I'm like saying, like, in my mirror, I would show, like, where am I going to? Because the traffic's not moving up front. Where must I go to? Must I go into the intersection and we gain 3 meters, 4 meters, and a bigger problem for the rest of the guys crossing? But I've noticed some people have got common sense. They do have the logic that I have, not to block that intersection. But you always find these idiots, I call them idiots on the road, that just lack common sense. So one of the big problems and functions for me is taxis. And it's not all taxis, please people, it's not all taxi drivers. It's a few of them, right? It's a few of them. Although, well, let me not say a few, I think more than a few actually. Because this is very common with taxi drivers, is they will just stop anyway. They don't have a fixed place, or they don't have a fixed area to drop off their passengers. They will just stop anywhere in the road. They will just stop dead, no hazards, they just stop and they will let passengers off the road. So if you're driving in a one lane, you actually have to now stand and remain behind that taxi until the passengers offload, and then they will continue. And said to myself that I would just give a hoot, because I can't change it. But if I give a hoot, then that taxi driver would know that what he's doing is wrong. He's inconveniencing the rest of the traffic. If you don't give a hoot, you are saying to that guy, it's fine, I'm okay with it. And then I also thought to myself, I'm gonna give this a try. I'm gonna do the same thing to a taxi driver that they are doing. Okay, not all of them. Again, I'm generalizing, but not all of them. But I said, I'll give it a try. I'm gonna stop. And at the exact same place where it normally happens with me, because there's only one road, and for you to go around, you actually have to go into the bus lane, and you have to go over those barriers, and it's a big inconvenience. And I said, I'm gonna give it a try. As soon as I drive up that road and I have a taxi behind me, I'm just gonna stop, and I'm gonna just stand for a minute, and I wanna see if he's frustrated with me, because the taxis always do that. Once again, not all of them, but in general, the taxis do that. So I did this a couple of times, and I was actually surprised with the results. It wasn't the results I expected. I was very surprised with the results. So I stop, and I'm just idling my car, and I'm just sitting and I'm watching my mirror, and the taxi stands behind me, and funny enough, the guy is patient. He just sits there, he waits, and I pull off, and he follows me. No hooting, no screaming, no road rage, no pointing of fingers, nothing. And I was really surprised. And I thought to myself, okay, they do it, so to them it's possibly they've adjusted to that, because they understand that this is what happens on the road. So I did it again. And just out of nowhere, just brake and just stopped, and then taxi guy behind me was like looking, and then he was standing there for a couple of seconds, and then I saw he went onto the barrier and he went into the bus lane, but no hooting, no shouting, no screaming, no gestures. Just went on the barrier, went around me anyway. And as he was going, I was looking at him to see if he's going to give me a funny face or is he going to give me some gestures, and he just went on and he went past me and he went off. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, they frustrate some taxi drivers, not all of them. They frustrate us when they do that. But when I did it to a taxi, I found they were accepting of it. So yeah, that was a bit of an experiment I did. What I'm trying to say is, and oh goodness, my time is up. I actually didn't get to the point that I wanted to make. But anyway, it is what it is. My 15 minutes is up. I'll see you in the next video.